Jamal Brown stared out the window as the Chicago sky shifted from bright blue to shades of orange. The day was ending, but for him, a new chapter in his life had just begun. At only 18 years old, Jamal felt the weight of responsibility like never before. His father's death had been a devastating blow to the family, and since then, he knew he needed to step up to help his mother, Carla, and his younger sister, Kayla. Their home was modest but cozy, filled with old, worn furniture that seemed to carry the stories of past generations. Carla, a strong woman, was in the kitchen preparing dinner, but Jamal could see the tiredness in her eyes with every stir of the pot. "Are you okay, Mom?" Jamal asked softly as he walked into the kitchen. Carla smiled at him, but it was a sad smile. "I'm fine, son. Just thinking about your dad. He was always so good at taking care of everything." Jamal felt a lump in his throat tighten. He wanted to say something to comfort her, but nothing seemed right. He knew he needed to do something more practical, something that would actually help. That's when he heard the familiar rumble of a motorcycle coming from outside the house. "Uncle Marcus is here," Kayla shouted as she dashed toward the door. Jamal followed his little sister to the front door, where his uncle, Marcus, stood with a wide grin on his face, next to an old motorcycle. It was a simple model, nothing fancy, but it looked in good shape. "Look what I brought you, Jamal," Marcus said proudly. "This bike was mine, and now it's yours." Jamal stared at the motorcycle, eyes wide in disbelief. "Mine? For real, Uncle?" "Yeah, kid. I know things have been tough since your dad passed, but you're smart and hardworking. This bike's gonna help you get started working. You can be a delivery driver, make some money, and help your mom with the bills." Jamal stood there for a few moments, taking in his uncle's words. He had never imagined having to work so soon, but now it was necessary. I don't know what to say, Uncle," Jamal replied, running his hand over the bike's rough surface. "Thank you." Marcus placed a hand on Jamal's shoulder and smiled. "You'll do great. I believe in you, kid. More importantly, your dad believed in you too." Jamal nodded, feeling a mix of emotions, pride, fear, and a growing sense of responsibility. He knew his life was about to change, and this motorcycle was the first step in that new journey. Inside the house, Carla watched the scene from the window, her eyes glistening with tears. She knew her son was growing up too fast, but with Marcus' support, she believed Jamal would have a chance to build something new. "Be careful out there, honey," Carla said, stepping toward the door with a worried look as she eyed the motorcycle. "I will, Mom. I promise," Jamal replied, trying to sound confident. As night settled over Chicago, Jamal sat on the motorcycle, imagining what the future held. He knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but with his family by his side and his uncle's encouragement, he was ready to begin this new journey. Jamal's heart pounded as he sped through the busy streets of Chicago. It was his first day as a delivery driver for Tim's Pizza and Subs, and the pressure was already mounting. The sounds of honking cars and blaring sirens filled the air as he tried to navigate the chaos. His eyes constantly darted between the road and his phone's GPS. The job wasn't as easy as he had imagined, and every second felt like it was slipping away faster than he could manage. That morning, his uncle Marcus had tried to ease his nerves. "Take it slow, Jamal," Marcus had said, clapping him on the back. "The first day's always rough, but you'll get the hang of it. Just stay focused, be patient, and keep your head up." Jamal had nodded, feeling reassured at the time. But now, in the thick of traffic, those words seemed distant. He gripped the handlebars of his old motorcycle, trying to push away the growing sense of anxiety. He knew how much his family was counting on him. Every delivery mattered, and he couldn't afford to mess this up. At a red light, he took a deep breath and glanced down at his phone. The next delivery address popped up, Lincoln Park. His stomach knotted. It was one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the city, and Jamal had never been there before. The thought of delivering food in such a high-end area made him nervous. As he waited for the light to turn green, his phone buzzed with a message from his mom. "Mom, how's it going, honey? First day on the job. I'm so proud of you." Jamal smiled briefly, his fingers tapping out a quick response. "Jamal, it's going okay. Just trying to get through it. Love you, Mom." The light changed, and Jamal took off again, the knot in his stomach tightening with each mile. His uncle's words of encouragement played in his mind, but they did little to ease the pressure. His family needed him to succeed, and the thought of letting them down weighed heavily on him. When he arrived at Tim's Pizza and Subs to pick up his next order, the familiar smell of pizza and fresh subs filled the air, but Jamal barely noticed. His focus was on making sure this delivery went right. Tim, the owner, was an older man with a no-nonsense attitude, but he had been kind enough to hire Jamal despite his lack of experience. "Jamal," Tim called, sliding a bag across the counter. "Got a delivery for Lincoln Park. Client's a regular, doesn't like waiting, so don't be late." Jamal's nerves spiked. "I'll get it there as fast as I can," he promised, his voice betraying a hint of anxiety. Tim gave him a sharp look, but there was understanding in his eyes. "Hey, first day's always a bit of a mess. Just don't rush yourself into trouble, alright?" Jamal forced a smile. "I'll be careful." He took the bag, carefully securing it on the back of his bike, and sped off. As the minutes ticked by, the traffic slowed him down, and despite his best efforts, he was running late. His heart raced, and his mind spun with worry. He couldn't be late, not for this customer. When he finally reached Lincoln Park, the neighborhood looked exactly like he had imagined: grand houses, manicured lawns, and expensive cars parked in driveways. It was a world far removed from what he was used to, and being there made him feel small. Jamal pulled up in front of a large white stone house, parked his bike, and grabbed the delivery bag. His hands were shaking as he walked up to the front door, nerves gnawing at him. He rang the doorbell and waited. A moment later, heavy footsteps approached, and the door swung open to reveal Richard Simmons, a middle-aged white man with an irritated scowl etched on his face. "You're late," Richard snapped, his eyes narrowing as he looked Jamal up and down. Jamal felt his stomach drop. "I'm really sorry, sir. There was traffic and—" "I don't care about your excuses," Richard interrupted, his tone sharp and dismissive. "I paid for this to be delivered on time. Do you even know what that means?" Jamal swallowed, trying to keep his composure. "Yes, sir. I'm sorry. It won't happen again." Richard scoffed, crossing his arms. "Kids like you don't understand hard work. You think everything's just handed to you." The word stung, but Jamal bit his tongue. He didn't want to argue, not on his first day. "Here's your order, sir," he said, handing the bag over, his voice barely above a whisper. Richard snatched the bag from him, shaking his head. "Next time, don't bother showing up if you can't be on time." The door slammed in Jamal's face, leaving him standing there on the front step, stunned and humiliated. He stood there for a moment, letting the weight of the encounter sink in before he turned and walked back to his bike. His hands trembled as he started the engine, Richard's harsh words replaying in his head. Jamal rode back through the streets of Chicago, his thoughts swirling with frustration. The encounter with Richard Simmons had hit him harder than he expected. He felt embarrassed, angry, and powerless all at once. He replayed the scene in his mind, Richard's dismissive tone, the insults, the door slamming in his face. Jamal had dealt with difficult situations before, but this one stung differently. The humiliation had cut deep. As he pulled up to Tim's Pizza and Subs to pick up his next delivery, his Uncle Marcus' words echoed in his head, "Don't let anyone bring you down. You've got a good heart, Jamal. Keep your head up." He wished he could have his uncle's strength in moments like these. Inside the shop, Tim was wiping down the counter when Jamal walked in, his face still showing the strain of the day. "Rough delivery, huh?" Tim asked, glancing at Jamal as he set down the rag. He could tell something had gone wrong just by looking at him. Jamal nodded, trying to shake it off. "Yeah, just a tough customer. I was late, and, well, he wasn't happy." Tim snorted. "Lincoln Park guy, right? Richard Simmons? That guy's never happy. He's got money, but no patience. Don't take it personally." Jamal sighed. "I'm trying not to. It's just, I've got a lot riding on this job, and I can't afford to mess up." Tim's expression softened. "Look, Jamal, the first day is always tough. You're gonna run into customers like him, people who think they're better than you because of where they live or how much they've got. But that doesn't mean anything. You just do your job the best you can, and keep moving forward." Jamal nodded, appreciating the advice, but the knot in his stomach was still there. He checked his phone for the next delivery. The address was closer this time, back in his own neighborhood, which brought a small sense of relief. "Thanks, Tim," Jamal said, grabbing the next order from the counter. "Don't mention it," Tim replied. "Just keep your cool out there. Don't let one bad customer ruin your whole day." As Jamal rode back toward the south side, his mind kept circling back to the earlier encounter. He'd grown up learning how to handle tough situations, but something about the way Richard had treated him stuck with him, like a thorn he couldn't pull out. The man hadn't just been angry about the late delivery, he'd looked at Jamal like he was beneath him. Jamal's phone buzzed in his pocket, pulling him out of his thoughts. It was his mom. "Mom, how's it going, baby?" "Almost done." He stopped at a red light and quickly typed out a reply. "Jamal, yeah, almost. Just finishing up some deliveries. Mom, don't work too hard. Dinner's waiting for you when you get home." Jamal smiled. His mom was always looking out for him, even when she was working long hours herself. He was about to text back when his phone buzzed again. This time it was a message from his friend, Isaiah. "Isaiah, yo, man, how's the first day going? Heard you're out there riding like a pro." Jamal chuckled, his mood lightened for a moment. "Jamal, more like struggling, but I'm surviving." "What's up?" "Isaiah, just checking in. Let's catch up later, bro. I want to hear all about it." Jamal put his phone away as the light turned green, feeling relieved. He had people in his corner, his mom, his uncle, his friends. They believed in him, and that mattered more than the opinion of some angry rich guy in the park. He reached the next delivery spot, a small house on a wide street near his own high school. As he knocked on the door, a young boy answered, his face lighting up when he saw the food. "Mom! The pizza's here," the boy shouted excitedly. A moment later, the boy's mother appeared, wiping her hands on her apron. "Thanks so much, honey," she said warmly as she handed Jamal a tip. "You have a good day, okay?" Jamal smiled, feeling the weight of the earlier incident start to lift. "Thank you. You too." As he rode off, the city skyline in the distance, Jamal realized something important. There would always be people like Richard Simmons, but there would also be people like the boy and his mother, people who appreciated the small things. And in the end, that's what he was doing this for, to help his family, to work hard, and to make a difference, even in the smallest ways. Jamal arrived home just as the sun was setting over Chicago, casting long shadows across the familiar streets of his neighborhood. His small apartment, though modest, felt like a sanctuary after a long and difficult first day of the job. As he parked his bike near the road, he noticed his mom, Shauna, sitting on the front porch. Her warm smile greeted him, but her eyes held a hint of concern. "How was your day, baby?" Shauna asked as Jamal walked up the steps. She could This guy, Richard Simmons, over in Lincoln Park, he completely lost it on me. I was late, and he just flipped. Shauna frowned, her voice calm but steady. Did he say something to you? Something more than just being mad about the delivery? Jamal hesitated, not sure how much to share. Yeah, he did. He said some things, made me feel like it wasn't just about the food being late. It was like, to him, I didn't even matter. Shauna sighed deeply, leaning back in her chair. Baby, I know it's hard. People like that, they're used to looking down on others, especially people like us. But you have to remember something, you're worth more than what they think of you. Jamal nodded but remained quiet, the weight of the day still hanging heavy on him. You've always been stronger than this, Shauna continued, reaching out to squeeze his hand. You've got a good heart, just like your dad did. And no matter how people treat you out there, you've got family who believes in you. Jamal glanced up, feeling a flicker of gratitude. His mom had been through so much after his dad passed away, yet she always found a way to stay strong, for both of them. He was determined not to let her down. Thanks, Mom, he said softly. I don't know how to keep my head up sometimes. She smiled, brushing her hair through his hair. One day at a time. You're doing more than you realize, Jamal. Just getting out there, working hard, that's something to be proud of. Just then, the front door opened, and his younger sister, Keisha, stepped out onto the porch, playful grin on her face. Mom made your favorite, spaghetti and meatballs, Keisha said, her voice light and teasing. You better hurry up before I eat all of it. Jamal chuckled, grateful for the distraction. You wouldn't dare, he replied, standing up and stretching his legs. I'll race you to the table. The three of them laughed as they headed inside, the weight of the day starting to ease off Jamal's shoulders. Later that evening, as the house quieted down, Jamal sat in his small bedroom, staring out the window. His bike was parked outside, ready for another long day of deliveries. He couldn't help but replay the events with Richard in his head, wondering if it would get easier, or if the world would keep throwing challenges his way. But as he glanced at his phone, a text from his Uncle Marcus popped up, bringing him a bit of comfort. Uncle Marcus, how was the first day on the bike? Jamal typed back, smiling a little as he thought about how proud his uncle had been to give him the motorcycle. Jamal, tough, but I'm making it work. Thanks again for the bike. Couldn't have done this without you. His phone buzzed almost immediately over the phone. Uncle Marcus, you're gonna do great, kid. Just keep pushing. Proud of you. Jamal leaned back in his chair, feeling a sense of renewed determination. He knew the road ahead wasn't going to be easy, but with his family behind him, he felt stronger. He had people who believed in him, and no matter how difficult the day had been, that belief was worth more than any insult thrown his way. As he lay down to sleep, he made a silent promise to himself, tomorrow will be better. And no matter what, he wouldn't let anyone, not even Richard Simmons, take away the pride he felt in working for his family. The next day dawned cold and cloudy in Chicago, mirroring Jamal's mentality. Despite his resolve to push forward, the humiliation from yesterday still lingered. He prepared for another shift, donning his delivery uniform and adjusting his jacket to face the biting wind. The city was bustling with activity, but to Jamal, it felt like everything had paused as he dealt with his own challenges. Arriving at Pizza Delights, where he picked up his deliveries, Tim was at the register, jotting down notes and checking the day's orders. He gave Jamal an encouraging look. Good morning, Jamal. How are you feeling today? Tim asked, his tone lighter and more friendly than usual. Morning, Tim, Jamal replied, forcing a smile. Still a bit shaky, but I'm here. Ready to tackle the day. Tim gave Jamal a pat on the shoulder. Good. Remember what we talked about yesterday. Each day is a new chance. Today might be better, and you might meet someone moment. While he waited, Jamal noticed a well-dressed woman approaching. She was with a group of colleagues and seemed engaged in a lively conversation. She spotted Jamal and paused. "Are you the delivery person?" she asked, looking at him with curiosity. "Yes, that's me," Jamal replied. "Delivering for the accounting firm here." The woman smiled kindly. "I'm the manager here. I'm Emily. I'll take the bill." She walked over to Jamal, and he waited, trying to stay calm. Emily seemed more approachable than Richard Simmons, and Jamal was starting to feel more confident. "Is your day going well?" Emily asked, taking the package. "Is it busy for you?" "Yeah, it's going better," Jamal answered. "Just trying my best." Emily nodded, handing him a generous tip. "Here, to thank you for the work. Keep it up, okay?" Jamal was surprised by the tip and the kind gesture. "Thank you, that really means a lot." As he left the building, a genuine smile spread across Jamal's face. Small acts of kindness like that made a huge difference on a tough day. Later, Jamal arrived at a local cafe for a new delivery. When he walked in, he saw an elderly man sitting around a table, reading a newspaper. The cafe was quiet, and the atmosphere was soothing. Jamal delivered the food to him. He looked up at him with a friendly smile. "Thank you, young man. I hope your day is going well." "Thank you, sir," Jamal replied. "It's getting better now." The man nodded. Sometimes, we just need a kind word to brighten our day. Keep going. Jamal left the cafe feeling lighter. The day was starting to improve, and he realized that the people around him had the power to change his perspective, even if just a little. The elderly man's words and Emily's gesture were reminders that there was goodness in the world, despite the struggles. When he got home that evening, he found his mom and sister in the living room, chatting and laughing. Dinner was ready, and the house was filled with warmth and comfort. "How was your day today?" Shauna asked as she served dinner. "Better than yesterday," Jamal replied, smiling. "I met some nice people, and things went more smoothly. I think I'm starting to find my rhythm." Keisha grinned. "That's great, Jamal. I'm happy for you." Jamal sat down at the table, feeling relieved. The day had been a mix of challenges and small victories, but what mattered most was that he was getting up and moving forward. With his family's support and the kindness he encountered along the way, he was beginning to believe that, despite the difficulties, there was always a light at the end of the tunnel. The sun rose on the horizon of Chicago, casting a soft glow over the city as Jamal prepared for another day of work. He felt more confident after the small victories of the past few days, but the weight of past struggles still lingered. On the chilly morning, he mounted his motorcycle and headed to Pizza Delights. As he rode, Jamal thought about what he might face today, still haunted by Richard Simmons' disrespect. He tried to keep his mind occupied, but he couldn't shake the feeling that his job was being tested in ways he hadn't anticipated. Arriving at Pizza Delights, Tim was at the counter, checking the day's orders. "Good morning, Jamal. Ready for another shift?" Tim asked with a smile. "Morning, Tim. Yeah, I'm ready," Jamal replied. "I just hope today is a bit quieter." Tim gave him a sympathetic look. "Well, if you run into anyone difficult today, remember what we talked about. You're doing great. Stay focused on the work and don't let them get to you." Jamal nodded and picked up the first order of the day, a pizza and soda combo for a house in a more distant neighborhood. As he headed there, he noticed a group of men standing on the sidewalk, chatting loudly and laughing. Among them was a robust and imposing man who seemed to be the center of attention. Jamal parked his motorcycle in front of the house and walked to the door. Before he could ring the bell, the burly man approached him with disdain. "Are you the delivery guy?" the man asked, his tone dripping with skepticism. "Yes, sir," Jamal responded. "I've got a delivery for you." I'm Karen, the receptionist said. I'll take the food to the office. Yes, that's me, Jamal replied, relieved to find someone friendly. While waiting, Karen started a conversation with Jamal. How's your day going? You seem to be dealing with some challenges. Jamal sighed. Yeah, it's been a bit tough. Some days are harder than others. Karen looked at him with empathy. Well, I hope things get better. Sometimes it's just about finding your rhythm. Jamal smiled, grateful for her understanding. Thanks, Karen. That means a lot. After completing the delivery, Jamal started to feel more optimistic. Karen's unexpected kindness made a significant difference in his day. He was beginning to understand that, even in tough times, there were always people willing to offer a little support. That same day, as he was heading home, Jamal found a letter in his mailbox. It was a simple envelope with his Uncle Marcus's name on it. Inside was a letter. Dear Jamal, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm so proud of you for keeping up the effort. I know things have been tough, but remember you are stronger than you think. To help a bit, I'm sending a small gift. Keep pushing forward and know that I'm here if you need anything. With love, Uncle Marcus. Jamal pulled out a check from an envelope and looked at it with a mix of surprise and gratitude. He knew that his uncle's gift meant more than just financial support. It was a reminder that he wasn't alone, even when facing the toughest challenges. When he walked into the house, he found his mom and sister in the living room, enjoying each other's company. Dinner was ready, and the house was filled with warmth and comfort. How was your day today? Shauna asked as she served dinner. Better than I expected, Jamal replied, smiling. I met some nice people and received a special letter. I'm starting to feel like things might get better. Keisha, with a curious look, asked, what's in the letter? Jamal read the letter to them, and everyone in the room felt the strength of the message. It was a reminder that, even on the hardest days, family support and acts of kindness could make all the difference. With that, Jamal felt more determined than ever to continue his journey, facing each challenge with renewed hope and resilience. As the sun dipped below the Chicago skyline, casting long shadows over the bustling city streets, Jamal prepared for another evening shift. The day had been relatively calm, a welcome change from the chaos he had faced recently. Still, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was on the horizon, a new challenge perhaps, waiting for him. Jamal arrived at Pizza Hut's and was greeted by Tim, who was busy preparing the evening orders. Hey, Jamal. Ready for the evening shift? Tim asked, looking up from his work. Hey, Tim. Yeah, I'm ready. The day's been better, but I've got a feeling something's coming up, Jamal replied with a hint of annoyance. Tim gave him a reassuring smile. Well, you've been doing great. Just remember to stay positive and keep your head up. If something comes up, just handle it like you've been doing. Jamal nodded and picked up his first delivery of the evening, a large pizza and a couple of sodas going to a high-rise apartment in a more affluent part of town. When Jamal arrived at the high-rise, he was greeted by a doorman who directed him to the elevator. The building was impressive, with marble floors and luxurious decor. Jamal rode the elevator up to the penthouse, feeling a mix of awe and nervousness. At the door, he knocked, and a woman in her early 30s answered. She was impeccably dressed and looked surprised to see Jamal. Delivery for Miss Thompson, Jamal said, holding up the pizza. The woman raised an eyebrow. You're the delivery person. I didn't expect someone like you. Jamal felt a twinge of discomfort, but tried to stay professional. Yes. Here's your order. The woman took the pizza with a barely concealed look of disdain. Thank you, she said coolly, but her tone was dismissive. She quickly closed the door without a word of thanks. As Jamal walked back to the elevator, he felt the sting of the woman's attitude. It wasn't as harsh as Richard Simmons' criticism, Some were kind, some indifferent, but none were as difficult as his earlier encounter. As Jamal was finishing his shift, he received a call for a late delivery. It was to a small, modest apartment building on the outskirts of town. When he arrived, he noticed an elderly woman waiting at the entrance, her face etched with worry. "Are you the delivery person?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "Yes, ma'am," Jamal replied. "I've got a delivery for you." The woman took the food and looked at Jamal with gratitude. "Thank you so much. My son is sick, and I was worried about not being able to get food for him. You don't know how much this means." Jamal felt a wave of empathy and compassion. "I'm glad I could help. I hope your son feels better soon." The woman nodded, her eyes filling with tears. "Thank you. You've made a difficult day a little brighter." As Jamal walked back to his mother's side, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. The small act of kindness he had experienced from the elderly woman was a powerful reminder of why he kept going despite the challenges. When he got home, his mom and sister were gathered in the living room, sharing stories and laughing. Jamal joined them, feeling a sense of comfort in their presence. "How was your day, Jamal?" Shauna asked, noticing his well-relaxed demeanor. "It had its ups and downs," Jamal replied. "But I met some really nice people too." It's funny how a kind word or gesture can change your whole perspective. Keisha looked at him with curiosity. "What happened today?" Jamal shared the story of his encounter with the elderly woman, and his family listened intently. "That's really touching, Jamal," Shauna said. "It's great that you're making a difference, even in small ways." Jamal smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. The challenges he faced were not over, but moments like these made the journey worthwhile. He knew that each day brought new trials and opportunities, and with the support of his family and the kindness of strangers, he was ready to face whatever came next. As the days grew shorter and the nights colder, Jamal continued his routine of pizza delights. The city was bustling with the holiday season approaching, bringing both an increase in deliveries and a heightened sense of urgency. Jamal was determined to keep up, focusing on providing the best service he could despite the occasional difficult customer. One crisp December evening, Jamal was making a delivery to a posh neighborhood on the outskirts of Chicago. The houses were decked out with festive lights, and the air was filled with the scent of holiday cheer. As he approached the address, he noticed a large house with an elaborate Christmas display. The mailbox read Thompson, the same name as the customer from the high-rise. When Jamal knocked on the door, he was greeted by a man in a suit who looked about the same age as the woman in the picture. The man had an air of authority, but his expression softened when he saw Jamal. "Evening, sir. Delivery for Miss Thompson," Jamal said, holding up the pizza. The man's face lit up with recognition. "Ah, yes. You must be Jamal. I've heard about you from my sister. Thank you for delivering this." Jamal was taken aback. "You've heard about me?" The man nodded. "My sister told me you were very professional and kind. I'm James Thompson. We've been hearing a lot of good things about you around here." Jamal smiled, feeling a mix of relief and pride. "I'm just doing my job. I'm glad to hear positive things." James invited Jamal inside while he paid for the pizza. The warm interior of the house was filled with holiday decorations, and the aroma of a freshly cooked feast wafted through the air. "Please, join us for a moment," James offered. "We're having a small holiday party, and it would be nice to have you share in the festivities." Jamal hesitated but accepted the invitation. He stepped into the living room, where a few guests were mingling. He was introduced to several people who welcomed him warmly, offering him a drink and a small plate of appetizers. As Jamal conversed with the guests, he felt a sense of belonging he hadn't experienced in a long time. The kindness and genuine interest of James and his guests were a stark contrast to the negativity they faced before. Later that week, Jamal heard you've been working hard lately. I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing. Jamal was surprised and touched by her gesture. Hi, Karen. I'm doing alright. It's been busy, but I'm managing. Karen handed him a small envelope. I wanted to give you this. It's a little something to show appreciation for all your hard work. I hope it helps. Jamal opened the envelope to find a gift card to a local grocery store. Wow, thank you so much, Karen. This really means a lot. Karen smiled. You deserve it. Keep up the good work. That evening, as Jamal headed home, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. The kindness he had received from James Thompson had lifted his spirits. He was beginning to see the impact of his efforts, and he was fueling his determination to keep moving forward. When he arrived home, Shauna and Keisha were gathered in the living room and decided to share news of their work. Guess what, Jamal? Shauna said, grinning. We got invited to a great event this weekend. It's a holiday gathering, and they're featuring local businesses. I thought it would be nice if we all went together. Jamal's face lit up. That sounds great. It's been a while since we did something like that. Keisha nodded. It'll be fun. Plus, it's a chance for us to be part of the community. Jamal agreed enthusiastically. Absolutely. Let's make it a family outing. As they discussed their plans for the weekend, Jamal felt a deep sense of gratitude. The support from his family, the kindness of strangers, and the small victories he had achieved were making a difference. With each day, he was growing more confident and hopeful, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The holiday season was in full swing, and the community event Shauna had mentioned was just around the corner. Jamal looked forward to it, eager to take a break from his busy work schedule and spend quality time with his family. On the day of the event, Jamal and his family prepared for the outing. The air was crisp and festive, with holiday decorations adorning the streets. The community center, where the event was held, was bustling with activity. Local businesses had set up booths to showcase their products and services, creating a lively and cheerful atmosphere. Jamal, Shauna, and Keisha walked through the center, taking in the sights and sounds. Keisha, excited by the variety of stalls, pulled Jamal toward a booth selling handmade products. Look at these. They're beautiful, Keisha exclaimed, examining the display of hand-carved wooden ornaments. They really are, Jamal agreed. I bet they make great gifts. Shauna, who was browsing the stall featuring great clothes, called out to the group. Hey, guys. I found some amazing cookies. They're a bit pricey, but let's get a few to share. As they gathered around Shauna, a familiar face approached. It was James Thompson, the man Jamal had met during the holiday party. Hello, Jamal. James greeted warmly. I didn't expect to see you here. How are you enjoying the event? Jamal smiled, pleased to see James. Hi, James. It's been great so far. It's nice to be part of the community. James nodded, looking around. It really is. I'm glad you could make it. This event is a great way to bring people together. As Jamal continued exploring, he noticed a booth set up by a local charity. The charity was collecting donations for families in need during the holidays. Jamal felt a pang of empathy, remembering the struggles his own family had faced. He approached the booth, where a volunteer was speaking with a couple of visitors. The volunteer, a middle-aged woman with a warm smile, noticed Jamal and greeted him. Hello there. Are you interested in learning more about our charity? She asked. Jamal nodded. Yes, I'd like to know how I can help. The volunteer explained, we're collecting donations in the amount of food items and toys for children. Any contribution, big or small, helps make a difference. Jamal thought for a moment, then said, I'd like to make a donation. He reached into his pocket and handed Jamal's phone buzzed with a message from Tim, his manager at Pizza Delights. He read the message and turned to his family with a smile. "Hey, Tim just texted me. He said they're short-staffed at the pizzeria and asked if I could come in for a bit." Shauna looked at him with concern. "Are you sure you want to go? It's your day off." Jamal nodded, looking determined. "I think it's important to help out when I can. Plus, it's only for a few hours. I'll be back before the event is over." Keisha reached out and squeezed his hand. "We understand, Jamal. You're doing a lot, and we're proud of you." Jamal smiled, feeling grateful for their support. "Thanks, guys. I'll be quick." As Jamal left the community center and headed to Pizza Delights, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. The event had reminded him of the importance of community and the impact of small acts of kindness. At the pizzeria, Jamal worked alongside his colleagues, handling the busy dinner rush. The atmosphere was lively, and despite the chaos, he felt a sense of camaraderie with his team. When his shift ended, Jamal returned to the community center, where the event was winding down. He rejoined his family, who greeted him with warm smiles and cheerful conversation. "How was work?" Shauna asked. "Busy but good," Jamal replied. "I'm glad I could help out." As they left the event, Jamal felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The day had been a mix of hard work and meaningful connections. It was a reminder that despite the challenges he faced, he was part of a supportive community, and every effort he made was contributing to something greater. With his family by his side and the holiday spirit in the air, Jamal looked forward to the future with hope and optimism. The journey ahead might be uncertain, but he knew he had the strength and support to face whatever came next. The new year had begun, and with it, Jamal's routine at Pizza Delights had settled into a steady rhythm. The holiday rush had passed, but his responsibilities remained as demanding as ever. Jamal had hoped that the new year would bring a reprieve from his challenges, but life had other plans. One particularly cold January evening, Jamal was working a closing shift at the pizzeria. The store was quiet, and he was busy cleaning up after a relatively calm night. As he finished mopping the floor, Tim, his manager, approached with a serious expression. "Jamal, I need to talk to you for a minute," Tim said, his tone more somber than usual. Jamal nodded, setting aside the mop. "Sure, Tim. What's up?" Tim motioned for Jamal to follow him to the back office. Once inside, Tim closed the door and took a deep breath. "I'm afraid I have some bad news. The pizzeria is going through some financial trouble, and we need to make cuts to save costs." Jamal's heart sank. "What does that mean for you?" Tim looked uncomfortable, but met Jamal's gaze. "We're going to have to reduce staff hours. I can't guarantee how many shifts you'll have in coming weeks." Jamal felt a wave of anxiety. "How am I supposed to manage with fewer hours? I have bills to pay and my family to support." "I understand," Tim said. "I wish there was more I could do. I'll try to give you as many hours as possible, but I can't make any promises." Jamal nodded, trying to stay composed. "I appreciate the heads up. I'll make do with whatever I get." That night, Jamal returned home with a heavy heart. Shauna and Keisha were waiting for him in the living room. "How was work?" Shauna asked, sensing that something was wrong. Jamal hesitated before answering. "Tim told me that the pizzeria is cutting hours. They're having financial issues, and I don't know how many shifts I get." Shauna's face fell. "Oh, Jamal, I'm so sorry. What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet," Jamal replied. "I'll have to figure out a way to make up the lost income. Maybe I can pick up some extra work or find another part-time job." Keisha, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. "Maybe I can help. I've been saving up a bit for my allowance. It's not much, but if it helps." Jamal was touched by her offer. use someone like you on our team. You can start next week." Jamal felt a sense of relief wash over him. "Thank you. I'll be there." As Jamal started his new job at the warehouse, he juggled his shifts at the pizzeria and his new responsibilities. The work was physically demanding, but Jamal was determined to make it work. Despite the exhaustion, he remained focused on his goals. One evening after a particularly long day, Jamal returned home to find Shauna and Keisha waiting for him. They had prepared a simple but comforting dinner. "Hey, how was the warehouse?" Shauna asked, setting the table. "It was tough, but I think I'm getting the hang of it," Jamal said, sinking into a chair. "I'm glad to have the extra income, but it's a lot of work." Keisha handed him a plate. "You're doing great, Dad. We're proud of you." Jamal smiled, feeling grateful for their support. "Thanks, guys. I couldn't do this without you." Despite the challenges, Jamal's determination in supporting his family helped him navigate this difficult period. He continued to balance his two jobs, working long hours to ensure that his family's needs were met. As the weeks passed, Jamal began to see a glimmer of hope. The financial strain was still present, but he felt more confident in his ability to handle the situation. The experience had strengthened his resolve and deepened his appreciation for the support he received from his loved ones. Jamal knew that the road ahead would still be challenging, but he was determined to face it with the same resilience and determination that had brought him this far. With each passing day, he grew more confident that he could overcome the obstacles in his path and build a better future for his family. As winter deepened, Jamal found a new rhythm in managing his dual responsibilities. The days were long and often grueling, but his resolve to provide for his family kept him going. His new job at the warehouse was starting to pay off, and he was slowly adjusting to the physical demands of the work. One snowy afternoon, Jamal was at the warehouse, lifting boxes and organizing inventory, when he noticed a familiar face among the new employees. It was Mr. Thompson, the same customer from the pizzeria incident during his first week. Jamal's heart skipped a beat. He tried to avoid eye contact, focusing on his tasks, but Mr. Thompson approached him with an awkward expression. "Hey, Jamal," Mr. Thompson said hesitantly. "Can we talk for a minute?" Jamal paused, surprised by the encounter. "Sure, Mr. Thompson. What's up?" Mr. Thompson shifted uncomfortably. "I just wanted to apologize for not meeting you down at the pizzeria. I was out of line, and I didn't handle it well." Jamal raised an eyebrow, unsure of how to respond. "I appreciate it, but it's been a tough time. I'm just trying to make things easier." "I understand," Mr. Thompson said. "I've been in a similar situation before. It's not easy. I wanted to make things right, so I've been trying to get involved in some community work. I thought maybe we could start over." Jamal nodded slowly. "That sounds fair. Thanks for reaching out." Later that evening, Jamal returned home to find Shauna and Keisha waiting for him. They had prepared a comforting meal, and the warmth of the house was a welcome reprieve from the cold outside. "How was your day?" Shauna asked, setting the table. "It was busy," Jamal replied, taking a seat. "I ran into Mr. Thompson at work today." Shauna looked up, surprised. "Really? How did that go?" "He apologized for how he treated me," Jamal said. "He seemed genuinely sorry. He even mentioned getting involved in community work." "That's good to hear," Shauna said thoughtfully. "It's nice when people can own up to their mistakes and try to make amends." Keisha, who had been quietly eating, added, "Do you think things will be different now?" Jamal smiled. "I hope so. It's a step in the right direction. We all make mistakes, but it's important to learn from them." The following week, Jamal noticed a change in his interactions with Mr. Thompson at the warehouse. There was a newfound respect in their exchanges, and Mr. Thompson made an effort to be more supportive. Jamal even found Thompson worked closely together. They organized events, reached out to sponsors, and rallied the community. The experience brought them closer and gave Jamal a sense of accomplishment beyond his regular work. When the day of the fundraiser arrived, the warehouse was bustling with activity. Families came out to support the cause, and the event was a success. Jamal felt a deep sense of pride seeing the positive impact of their efforts. After the event, Jamal and Mr. Thompson stood together, surveying the aftermath. "You did a great job today," Mr. Thompson said, extending his hand. "I couldn't have done it without you." Jamal shook his hand. "Thanks, Mr. Thompson. It's been a tough journey, but moments like this make it worthwhile." Mr. Thompson nodded. "Here's to new beginnings and making a difference." Jamal smiled, feeling a renewed sense of hope and connection. Despite the ongoing challenges, he knew that with determination, support, and willingness to forgive and move forward, he could face whatever lay ahead. As winter faded and spring approached, a sense of renewal filled Jamal's life. The months had brought significant changes, and the success of the fundraiser had not only provided relief to local families, but had also opened new doors for them. One sunny afternoon, Jamal was relaxing at home with Shauna and Keisha in the doorway, breaking their peaceful routine. "I'll get it," Jamal said, rising from the couch. He opened the door to find Mr. Thompson standing on the porch with a warm smile and a large envelope in his hand. "Hey, Jamal," Mr. Thompson greeted. "I wanted to drop by and give you something." Jamal looked curious. "Sure, what's this about?" Mr. Thompson handed him the envelope. "This is a little something for you and your family. It's a donation from the fundraiser, but also a personal contribution from me. I wanted to thank you for everything you've done and to support you as you move forward." Jamal took the envelope, feeling touched. "Mr. Thompson, you didn't have to do this." "I wanted to," Mr. Thompson said sincerely. "You've shown a lot of strength and character. I hope this helps you out." Jamal opened the envelope to find a generous amount of money inside. His eyes widened in surprise, and he looked up at Mr. Thompson with gratitude. "Thank you so much. This will make a huge difference for us." "You're welcome," Mr. Thompson said. "But more importantly, I wanted to tell you that there's an opportunity for you at the warehouse. We're expanding, and I think you'd be a great fit for a managerial position. It's a chance for you to take on more responsibility and earn better income." Jamal was stunned. "Are you serious? That's incredible." "I am," Mr. Thompson confirmed. "You've earned it. Think about it and let me know if you're interested." Jamal could hardly believe his luck. "I'll definitely think about it. Thank you again for everything." Mr. Thompson smiled. "No problem. I'll be in touch soon. Enjoy the rest of your day." After Mr. Thompson left, Jamal shared the news with Shauna and Keisha. Their excitement filled the room. "Wow, Jamal, this is amazing," Shauna exclaimed, hugging him. "I'm so proud of you." "I can't believe it," Keisha said, her eyes sparkling with happiness. "This could really change everything for us." Jamal nodded, feeling a wave of hope and relief. "It's a big step, but I think it's the right one. I want to make the most of this opportunity and build a better future for us." As the weeks went by, Jamal transitioned into his new role at the warehouse. The managerial position came with new challenges, but it also offered a stable income and a sense of achievement. The work was demanding, but Jamal embraced it with determination. One evening, as summer approached, Jamal sat on the porch with Shauna and Keisha, watching the sunset. He reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point.